Good afternoon. It is now time for the September 7th public board meeting of the DeSoto County School Board. We will stand and say our pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We move on and approve our agenda. Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
Hearing that recommendation, do we have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Usleton, your superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to start out today. We've got our teacher spotlight segment. I would like to ask Principal Betty McGee to please come forward, representing Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
Good afternoon, Mr. Usleton and members of our school board. Thank you guys for having us out this afternoon. We are going to be celebrating our 20th year at Pleasant Hill Elementary School this year. So we've got a lot of exciting things going on our campus, and I have invited two of our gifted teachers and members of our school's leadership team, Mrs. Susan Powell and Mrs. Tiffany Lyles, here to tell you about some of those things going on.
Hi, thank you so much for having us, and we're thankful for Ms. McGee inviting us to be the ones who could share, because we have a passion and adore what we do, so we're so excited to get to share it with you. I'm Susan Powell.
I'm Tiffany
I'm my
Lyles.
teammate Tiffany Lyles, and I teach second grade Spotlight, and she teaches third grade Spotlight. And so our theme is from Wizard of Oz, and it's with the 20th anniversary, and a 20th anniversary gift would be emeralds. So we thought of Emerald City and Wizard of Oz. I know y'all know that all clicks, and so there's no place like home on the hill. All right.
So we have our farm and gardens. That's one thing that's really special about our school. It's an orange campus, and we've got a greenhouse and several other things for the students to enjoy, and we use those as instructional tools. But our school farm and gardens provide an amazing opportunities for students for hands-on learning and real-life applications of science and STEM-based experiences. And these are some of those experiences. We grow our own food. The kids experience cooking with food. We use that for measurement and different math skills. We also do a hatching and poultry program. We also have a lot of activities that we use for writing and for math, integrated. Here you see, this is our sweet potato crop. We actually baked 45 pies and supplied our teachers with a nice sweet treat, sweet potato pies, and gave the kids a new experience as well. We also have a hatching program, and we post those videos on Facebook so that other kids can enjoy those learning experiences. We also have a wide variety of animals. You see the bearded dragon, the ducks, we have chickens, we use those eggs. We have our poultry project, we have pollinator gardens also. And here are some of the pictures of the kids experiencing some of those different things. And the kids learn a lot from hands-on learning experiences, and it just really means more to have those experiences than to experience in real life than to just experience, say, online.
All right, our Farm Club is an engaging opportunity for the students to learn about the natural world through science-based real-life learning experiences to build character, leadership skills, promote natural curiosity, and intrigue students through STEM opportunities. And so this is an afternoon club that we will begin in a couple of weeks, and we meet 8 to 10 times each semester. And the kids have loved it so much that many of them are now farming at home with parents and grandparents. So we have loved seeing that connection. And these are some of our pictures from Farm Club, and it is not our spotlight students generally. So we love it because it's another group of kids that are getting to experience the farm and garden and taking care of animals. We have visitors come in. That's where you see the baby gator.
We don't have any gators in the school yet.
No, that's not our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
We also have robotics, coding, and STEM. The students enjoy the various STEM and science-related experiences and job exploration opportunities. As we all know, the tech industry is going to be really big for our kids. So we start introducing them even at second, third grade levels. And here you see a partnership that we have with the CTC. We go to CTC East and West. And we also do coding, and we wrote a grant, and we have robotics kits. So we've been building little some of these you can see here that we've actually built. And this is second and third grade, basically working on these, but we also had an integration at one of the CTC centers with the health and sciences. We'll explore those.
All right, PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports, is a school-wide approach that aims to create a safe and effective learning environment for our PHES students by teaching them behavior expectations and strategies to promote good behavior. I love the way positive, it's based on positivity. So we've got pause we're Jaguars, so Jaguar pause, personal best, accept and respect everyone, make wise choices and stay safe. And one of our teachers a couple years ago taught her students a chant, and now we continue to do it daily with our morning meetings.
Today we're going to do our personal best, accept and respect everyone, make wise choices, and stay safe. Burn, yes.
We also strive to make big connections with our community, because we usually say that the village to raise a child, well, it really kind of takes a farm and the whole community around it to kind of support us. PHES is dedicated to building a strong supportive community around its students, and by fostering partnerships and creating a sense of family. We are enhancing the educational experience and also helping students develop valuable social skills and a sense of belonging.
All right, and a couple of you are seeing your picture here. Our Veterans Day program. Our annual Veterans Day program honors our veterans who served our country, teaches our children the meaning and sacrifices of their service. Students honor their service through patriotic songs and celebrations. And we would love to invite all of you on November 8th. Sheriff Tuggle will be coming to speak to us this year for our Veterans Day program. It'll be at 9:30. All right, our International Peace Day teaches students the importance of putting aside differences and celebrating a peaceful existence for all. So as you can see here, we come out as a family or community, and the children are taught songs. They're making these peace pinwheels, they're writing on it what peace means and researching, and then they go out and put it into the ground, and we have 2 large peace symbols.
We also have an annual event that we do. It's Cookies and Carols with Cops. This is to provide an opportunity for students to interact with officers in a positive way, and allows our students the opportunity to honor their service for our community. We had a huge turnout, including the Reindeer Dash, which if you miss it, if you miss coming to see it, it will be posted on Facebook. We have a yearly winner for that, the Officers Coven.
Absolutely. All right, parent volunteers, one of my favorites. Involving parents in school activities is so important in making everyone a stakeholder in our children's education. Sharing these experiences on social media helps to build these strong partnerships. So with our gardens, we have 39 raised beds, a large shoot house, a vineyard, with scuppernines and muscadines, and parents bring children every day. They sign up on a calendar before school ends, and someone is tending to the garden, harvesting and taking care of it every day of the summer. Very blessed. All right, to enrich our students' learning experiences, we love partnering with community businesses and outreach programs to help our students understand the real world in action and to explore possible career opportunities. So we are so thankful for CTC and what they have, and that the children many of them already begin thinking what they want to do, and the parents have been so impressed with that with DeSoto County Schools. So thank you so much for those programs. I know that we have a teacher behind us here with CDC. But as you see, we've got other volunteers that have come. A farmer from Batesville comes and shares with our kids and brought a lot of produce. With the Mississippi Wildlife Association, the DeSoto Soil and Conservation come. So, and then when they hear of other things in their area that could benefit us, they like to share. And they'll say, hey, you talk to this company, they'll give you soil. So we love the partnerships in community building. And thank you so much for allowing us to be here. We appreciate all that you do for the DeSoto County Schools and for Pleasant. Thank you.
Great. Great presentation. We appreciate that. And Ms. McGee, we appreciate you and your leadership at Pleasantville. And y'all always do such an excellent job there. Thank y'all. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Stephanie Marley to come forward. She's our Director of English Learners, and she'll give us an update on her department.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing me some time today to share a little bit about our program and the services that we provide to the county. I'd like to start with sharing that we work closely with all the other departments to ensure that our mission and vision is aligned with our strategic plan, and the 5 goals that you see listed drive the work that we do every single day. I'm going to talk a little bit about the growth. This should come as no surprise to many of you, as DeSoto County is one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Mississippi. When I started in this position 10 years ago, we were at 1,300 ELs, including monitored students. We are required to monitor our students and obtain proficiency for 4 years after they exit the program, so they still count as EL. We are starting the school year with 1,642. And additionally, with 791 students being monitored. So we're well over the 2,000 mark of English learners. But what is fascinating about this graph that you see here is since Labor Day, we have enrolled almost 400 new students just this year alone. So that is definitely a record for DeSoto County. Another record for DeSoto County is that we now represent over 45 different languages. We had teetered in that mid-30 for a few years, and with this year we hit 45, with Spanish, Arabic, Vietnamese, Chinese, and Gujarati being our top 5. So the rapid amount of growth is definitely posing some challenges for our district, but I feel like we're navigating them pretty well with the resources that we have. So I'm going to share a little bit about our resources. We're going to start with our teachers. And so we have 47 certified EL teachers in our county. And this is really fascinating because with a nationwide shortage, you would think that it would be very difficult to find someone who specializes in language acquisition. And it is, but we are very fortunate that we are one of the top employers in Mississippi. So we actually have teachers relocate to come and work in our department. So fortunately for my area, I have not struggled to fill the vacancies over the course of the last few years. We do employ the most certified teachers in the state of Mississippi. And because we like to raise the bar and we have a very high standard, not only do our teachers have to be certified in second language acquisition, they also have to have a reading background or be certified in ELA, because that work is so important what we do with our students. So our students are required, according to the State Department, to obtain the English language proficiency within 5 years of enrolling in our program. So not only do they have to learn English, but they have to master all of the state standards and pass all of the state assessments per the State Department. So we have 2 instructional specialists that work with our schools. One focuses in elementary, on the elementary side, and one focuses on the secondary. And they make sure that our principals and our teachers have all of the resources they need for our students to learn English, but additionally so they can master those state standards and pass those state assessments. As I previously shared, we do have over 45 different languages in our district. While we can't provide an interpreter for all 45 languages, over 70% of our students speak Spanish, so we do have a full-time Spanish interpreter. She does serve all 44 schools, so that does tend to be a bit of a challenge, but we're really excited because this year we added 2 new positions to our department. Our bilingual parent liaison will be helping our Spanish interpreter to ensure that we're in compliance and also focusing on parent engagement. We are really focusing on workforce development this year, and we also have a part-time family engagement liaison that's going to kind of help us with all of that workforce development, and extracurricular fun things that our kids want to be a part of. And then last but not least, our EL data support is our lifeline. While we are expected to educate our students and teach them English, we are also required to be in compliance with state and federal mandates, which requires a lot of reporting and data collection. And so our EL data support does a fabulous job of making sure our schools and our district is in compliance with all of the resources that they need. Because we do have such a unique set of needs in our county with the different languages and the rapid growth, we have to be very strategic with the resources that we have in our county to make sure that we're able to appropriately instruct our students. And so what we've decided to do over the course of the last few years is to really pour into our littles. So research shows that you learn another language a lot quicker if you're younger. And so that's what we're doing. And so all across the county over the course of the next few weeks, you're going to see these fantastic graduation celebrations. And these are our kids who are obtaining proficiency within those 5 years at a much younger rate. We're really excited about this because our schools are now making this a school-wide event, and it's just that. This doesn't happen overnight. Our kids do not become proficient in English overnight. It takes years of pouring into our kids to be able to obtain this level of status. And so we're just excited that our schools are partnering to make sure that it's a collaborative effort because it starts in kindergarten, all of our teachers working together. Sometimes it gets a little challenging to pour so much into an area and not see the rewards immediately. But when we pour into them when they're little, we see the rewards when they get a little bit older. It gives us a little bit more time to focus on an academic setting. So this year alone, we were able to recognize 2 former ELs. One was the salutatorian at DeSoto Central High, one was the valedictorian at Horn Lake High. And that was really exciting. We actually have a lot of former ELs in the top of their academic class, part of the ACT 30 Club. So getting them into the proficiency status at a younger age allows us to really let them thrive in those older grades. So we're really excited that all of the years of pouring into them, we're starting to see a lot of those rewards. And speaking of graduation, if you've been with us a few years, you've probably heard of our Biliteracy Seal Initiative. So we decided to tackle the Biliteracy Seal Initiative during the pandemic. Everyone thought it was a terrible idea. And we decided we needed something positive to kind of unite our non-English speaking students with our language lovers of the county. And so it was very, very difficult to implement this. We were one of the few districts who decided to implement this in 2020. But since 2020, we've already had over 120 students graduate with the seal. What's really fascinating about this is that this is a national initiative, and over 58 of those kids have received the gold seal, which is the most challenging seal to receive nationwide. These kids have decided to do this on top of all of the requirements the state has already decided to set forth for our students. So we're just really, really excited about this initiative and the growth that we have seen within our county. A few weeks ago, the State Department in Alabama actually reached out to me because they wanted me and a State Department member from Mississippi to come speak at a Southeastern conference because a lot of states are really having difficulty implementing this initiative and getting students motivated. And they have heard about our high numbers of students that we have here in DeSoto County. So they want us to come share how we were able to implement an initiative such as this during the pandemic and see such success. So we are excited to actually get to go share positive things with other states because we are doing a lot of great things. And I just want to wrap up that anytime I share the success of the growth of our district and our department, I always attribute our success to the support that we receive from our superintendent and our board members. There is absolutely no way our program would have made it this far and grown this big without the support of the board and our superintendent. And we have seen a lot of success, and I feel like we are going to continue to see success because we do have such a supportive board. So thank you so much for all you do. We're really excited to see all this year has to offer.
Great, thank you. Great report, and we appreciate all of your hard work. You did an outstanding job. And I want to thank again Pleasant Hill Elementary School. And y'all are welcome to stay. If y'all want to go, feel free to go. I know y'all been at school all day. So,
Hey, Mr. Powell and Ms. Lyle, Ms. Powell, out of curiosity, they said 20 years at Pleasant Hill. My kids went to Pleasant Hill, and you were there They graduated high school, so
I was there
how many years have you been at Pleasant Hill out of 20 years?
15 years ago, so 14. I was there
How about you,
14.
14 years in
And
planning?
I taught it, so Central Elementary for 10.
Amen. Well, thank y'all. Good to see
Thank
you.
y'all very much.
Thank y'all. That concludes the superintendent's report. Margaret?
Mr. Attorney report.
Yes, sir, I have one matter, it's a construction contract, issue that needs to be discussed in executive session.
Okay, thank you, sir. Approval of the August 15, 24 board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Consent agenda, which may be a record, items A through C.
I'm not going to recite it. That's under recommendation. Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. New business, Mr. Williams, Architectural Services of Allen and Herschel PLLC, Building Addition for Lewisburg High School.
Yes, sir. We're seeking permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement for architectural services for Lewisburg High School building addition.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Allen and Herschel for the building addition at Lewisburg High School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, permission to advertise for bids, building addition for Lewisburg High School.
Yes, sir. We're seeking permission from the board to advertise for bids on the Lewisburg High School building addition.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve advertising for bids for the building addition at Lewisburg High School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, a request to reject a bid for furniture for Oak Grove Central Elementary School.
Yes, sir. We had a reverse auction for Oak Grove Central Elementary furniture. That was board approved. The winning bidder, which is HC1 International Inflex, could not produce the required general liability insurance requirements. So we're requesting to reject the bid.
Yes, sir. Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve rejecting the bid for the furniture at Oak Grove Central Elementary School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Mr. Williams, bids for furniture for Oak Grove Central Elementary School.
Yes, sir. Now that we've rejected the winning bidder, I recommend accepting the third place bid for the furniture from Furniture Specialists due to the first place bidder, HCOM, not being able to fulfill the insurance requirements, and then the second place bidder, Learning Environments, not being able to honor their original bid price.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the bid for the furniture at Oak Grove Central Elementary School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, bids for Lightspeed Internet filter and classroom management.
Yes, sir. A reverse auction was conducted on August the 14th for Lightspeed Internet Filters and Classroom Management. I recommend accepting the lowest and the best bid from Borderland for those items.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid for the Lightspeed Internet Filter and Classroom Management.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request to pay vendor purchasing rule for Lake Cormorant High School.
Yes, sir. In your packet is a letter from the principal of Lake Cormorant High School explaining the details of what happened. The letter requests permission to pay the vendor for the services rendered before the purchase order was issued. The principal has worked with the business department to address the employees involved and to ensure that this does not happen.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the personal rule issued at Lake Cormorant High School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request for proposal for safety and sanitation systems and services.
Yes, sir. Request for proposals for safety and sanitation systems and services for the Child Nutrition Department will open on August the 5th. Based on the specified scoring criteria provided by the evaluators, I recommend entering a contract with SFSPAC.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request for proposal for the safety and sanitation system and service.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request to purchase school buses.
Yes, sir. Transportation Department is requesting permission from the board to purchase buses for the district. The vendors are all on state contract and the proper quotes have been obtained. The buses have been budgeted for and will be paid out of district maintenance fund.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to purchase school buses.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request to reimburse an employee at DeSoto Central High School.
Yes, sir. In your packet is a copy of a gas receipt and an email explaining that the PIN number issued for the fuel man card was incorrect. The employee paid with his own debit card and we're requesting permission to reimburse the employee for the gas purchase.
Mr. Usleton, hearing, what is your recommendation? Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to reimburse the employee for the DeSoto Central High School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams,
Yes, sir.
talk about certification of bank reconciliation, July 2024.
Without a doubt, all accounts have been reconciled with no exceptions.
What is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for July 2024.
Hearing the recommendation, do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you. Ms. Hasselman, revised board policy GBRI, absent from duty.
Yes, sir, we're asking to revise this policy because accruals were added to our child nutrition team members. Their work days are based on a 6-hour schedule, therefore, their accruals need to be assigned accordingly.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy GBRI, absence from duty.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Hasselman. Mr. Alexander, personnel.
Sorry, personnel packet today, pages 1 through 5 are recommendations. Pages 6 through 8 are personnel changes. Page 9 is a memo for myself on the request to add 2 additional data support positions. This will be effective on September 5th. The additional units will be employed 230 days and on the data support scale. Page 10 is a memo from Ms. Goss on the request to add 1 additional teaching unit to support students at Hernando High School for the 24-25 school year. Page 11 is a memo from Ms. Goss, our Director of Special Education, That's on the request to add one additional therapeutic interventionist. This position would work with one student in lieu of a PCA. Page 12 is a memo from Ms. Treadway, our Director of Primary Schools, and she is requesting to pay a special education TA for 1 hour that was accidentally worked on 7/29. This would be at her hourly rate of pay. Page 13 is a memo from Ms. Goss on the request to freeze an hourly pay, $15.73 an hour per employee. It's a PCA at Lewisburg Intermediate School. She was inadvertently paid the additional 5%, which is when you handle bodily fluids. This year, she is a functional skills class, and the additional 5% was removed. That would take her pay just a little lower. We'd like to at least freeze so she doesn't make less money than she did the previous year, and then that will should catch it next year. Memo, page 14 is a memo from Ms. Nancy Jenkins, our Director of Athletics, and it's about paraprofessionals who will assist with coaching duties this school year. We have a golf at Lewisburg High School, softball at Lewisburg High School, and volleyball at Hernando Middle School. Page 15 is a memo from Ms. Wendy Michael, our Director of Academic Support. This is a request to pay a teacher at South Haven High School. She was previously working back in June to work up to 30 hours at $30 per hour for new teacher content training. The Kronos number was incorrect, so I get that Kronos number corrected, and I'm not sure she was paid. Page 16 is a memo from Mr. Levi Williams, Director of Transportation, on the request to change existing training staff development rate from $37 per hour to $40 per hour. Those have already gone through that last month. And then page 17 is a memo from Mr. Williams on request to approve that stipend at $40 per day for those new bus drivers and aides who will attend the in-service training on, or be it on 7/24, 7/25, and 7/29. Page 18 through 20 is the Assistant Superintendent of Operations job description. 21 through 23 is the Assistant Superintendent of Accreditation and Advanced Academics job description. Page 24 through 26 is the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources job description. And pages 27 through 29 is the Assistant Academic Services job description. This change is the same on all those, added of minimum requirements, and that's must possess a master's degree in certification in administration from the State Department of Mississippi Department of Education, and also must have 5 years of experience in educational administration in a school level and or district level position. Pages 30 through 32 is the Project Connect teacher assistant job description, and added minimum requirement there was must be able to obtain a CDL in 1 year of employment. Pages 33 through 35 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Carol Ingram, our Director of Federal Programs, on the Horn High School employees to work as after-school tutors who need academic support. This will begin September 5th and end on 6/30/2025 at $30 per hour. Pages 36 through 37 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Ingram on South Haven High School employees to work as after-school tutors students who need academic support. That will begin 9/5 and end at 6/30/2025 at $30 per hour. Pages 38 through 39 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Ingram on the Lake Common High School employees to work after-school tutors, those who need academic support, beginning 9/5, ending 6/30/2025 at $30 per hour. Pages 40 through 41 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Jennifer Stripling, our Chief Officer of Secondary Academics, on following teachers who will work outside their normal contracted hours to write assessment items for the DeSoto County Schools item bank in the ELS platform. They will each work up to 55 hours at $30 per hour. This will begin 9/7/24 and could end on 1/5/2025. And page 42 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on request to split the MET chair at Hernando Elementary to 2 employees who will both work 15 hours each at $30 per hour beginning 9/5/24, and that would run through June 30th of 2025.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve personnel as presented.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Usleton, do we have any residency appeals today?
Yes, sir, we have residency matters to consider in executive session.
Thank you, sir. Public comment. As a board, we welcome public public participation at our board meetings. While this is not a debate setting nor a question and answer session, we reserve this time at our regular scheduled board meeting for public comment and for citizens who have requested to appear. Board policy allows 30 minutes for public comment. Public comment involving student matters or personnel matters must be heard one at a time in executive session. Any person who wishes to comment will have up to 5 minutes to speak until the 30-minute time limit is reached. When I ask for public comment, please state your name, and if you have a student matter or personnel matter, please state that information as well. Do we have anyone who wishes to comment? Yes, ma'am.
Charlotte Board, my name is Amanda Briggs. I'd like to thank you all for seeing me today. I want to start off by reading this excerpt from the U.S. Department of Education website. It states, even when a district has valid proof of residency requirements, it must exempt from those requirements all children and youth who are considered homeless under the federal McKinney-Vento Homelessness Act. These children and youth have a right to enroll in school, even if their families cannot produce the documents that would otherwise be required to prove residency. The McKinney-Vento Act defines the term homeless children and youth as including or part of children or youth who are sharing the housing of other people due to loss of housing, economic hardship, and a similar reason are living in motels, hotels, trailer parks, or camping grounds due to the lack of alternative or adequate accommodations, are living in emergency or transitional shelters, are abandoned in hospitals, or are awaiting foster care replacement, as well as children of migratory and agricultural workers. Additional information regarding this act can be found at, again, this excerpt was taken from the U.S. Department of Education. Again, to introduce myself, my name is Amanda Briggs. I'm the mother of a 7th grade student at Horn Lake Middle School. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my story and what I've encountered. Just a little background on how and why I'm here, if I may. In 2020, when COVID was at its full strength, my position at my job was eliminated. I was a consultant at Hair Club where I did face-to-face consultations to advise people on their options concerning hair loss. Unfortunately, the restrictions from the pandemic took the personal meetings away and we went to virtual consultations only. Although I was in the top 10% of the company in virtual sales, they only chose to keep the top 5 based on overall nationwide sales being down. Being a single mom and not having made the best choices in the past, I could only hold on for a short time. When I lost my job, I lost my home, my vehicle, and almost everything else that I'd worked so hard to gain. I had no living family and was facing complete homelessness. I called a friend and asked if my son and I could stay there until I got back on my feet. Thankfully, he said yes, and so we made the trip from Memphis to Horn Lake. While I knew that my son's virtual education he received from Shelby County Schools was laughable at best, I knew he would be repeating the 4th grade. We got here in 2020 in July, so I had little time to gather the things I needed to register him. I knew that when I went to the school, I would be sent to the district office, which I was, so I'd already pre-planned for that because I knew I didn't have all the required documentation. First, I was sent to speak to an assistant to the head of registration. I explained the situation and was treated so poorly that I ended up in tears. I was then sent up one level to the man in charge of all registration. Between these two professionals, and I use that term loosely, I was called a liar, a scammer, and I was treated like complete trash because I did not have everything that they needed or wanted. I already felt like a failure by losing everything I had built for my son and myself. The last thing that I needed was to be talked down to and belittled by people who were there under the guise of helping me. When I left the office that day, I was in tears. I felt ashamed, hopeless, and guilty that my past choices had an effect on my present situation. But there was one more emotion that I was feeling, and that feeling was complete and absolute anger. While I may not have been dressed the way that I am to present this to you today, I still have the same passion and fire to fight for myself, to fight for my son, and to fight for others who cannot or are scared to fight. I went home and I studied the law because I knew that I was in the right and that my son deserved an education just like every other student in this district. That's how I found the McKinney-Vento Act that I read to you earlier. And if you could, please see the attached document that I've passed out to members. When I found this, I knew that it immediately applied to our situation. So back to Hernando I went. After reading them this act verbatim, I asked them to please let my son attend school while I worked on getting everything that they wanted. I was told that this act didn't apply to me, and once again, I was lying and scamming trying to get my son into school. When I got home, I called the Department of Education in Jackson, Mississippi. I explained the situation and was told I'd be given a phone call shortly. About an hour later, my phone rang and I received an apology from the same man who had me escorted out of the building by security literally hours earlier. Okay, yes, sir. Okay, well, let me just sum it up like this. I thought the nightmare would be over, but every year ever since then, I have been nothing but retaliated against, year after year after year. The reason I'm here right now is because I have a TikTok with over 50,000 views stating everything I've been through just to get my son a right to education. Although now I have everything that I need plus more, this year, just literally weeks ago, after sitting in the required documentation, I was told that it wasn't good enough. Again, luckily, Ms. Belinda and Mr. Chase saw the documentation. I received a phone call apologizing and telling me that they were sorry and that the required documentation is good enough. The retaliatory facets that I face trying to register my school are unprofessional, they're uncalled for, and there needs to be a change. I have more to speak, but I will take that up in executive, I guess in October. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Rhodes. Do I have any other public comment? We do have two requests up here. That would be JD. Ms. Dockery, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and BH, Mr. Hudson, are you here? Great, thank you. Oh, no, we'll hear you in executive session, I'm sorry. Yes, no, thank you. I need a motion for consideration of closed session to determine whether the board should remain or enter into executive session for the following matters: residency appeal matters, and then two requests to appear, as well as a construction contract matter. Do I have a motion? Second, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we will go to executive session. Mr. Chase will come back and see whether we stay in executive session. Thank you all.